All right, everybody. Welcome to another Bourbon show. As usual, I'm Dan Schmidt. Got Steven Shantafosky here, Ryan Namoff, and our special guest for the night, Mr. Rob Durham. Rob, thanks for slumming it with us.
Hey, thank you for having me. What else is there to do on a Wednesday?
I mean, nothing.
Did that come off wrong? Does this get released on a weekend and this is a magic trick? We don't know when we really record.
This one will probably be released on a Monday, but not for a few weeks.
Okay.
It's not like we're going to have any viewers anyway. So
yeah,
this is for us to chuckle at.
We're pre-audience, as you call it.
Other podcasts might be like pre-funding. We're pre-audience. So,
yeah. All right. I like that.
So Rob, again, thanks for joining us tonight. Rob is a very special guest. He is very multi-talented. He's a comedian. He's a teacher. He's a golf coach. He's a published author. He's got a video podcast.
That's a
fun video series. Let's call it a fun video.
Let's call it that. Yeah.
Again, we are pre-audience, Rob. This is a low bar.
So, what did I miss there, Rob? What did I miss?
Boy, I don't.
Oh, I've got one other thing. He is, honest to God, one of the nicest dudes in the entire St. Louis comedy scene. Just a very, very good guy.
And I just thought I'm a 3.5 rated pickleball player, so I've got that going for me as well. It's geriatric tennis.
Okay.
And I play with a guy it's fun. I play with a guy that's 69 years old. We were partners last week. He almost took my ear off with his paddle there. You can see that still isn't healed. Probably should have got stitches. But yeah, I play with it's an older crowd, so it makes me feel young. And yeah. It's it's kind of like smaller version of tennis, larger version of ping pong.
With a wiffle ball, basically.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's kind of like a wiffle ball type thing. Yeah.
Okay. Now, is 3.5 good?
It's pretty good. Yeah, I've been playing 3 years, so it's 4.0 is where it starts to get really serious, and they're like, you can't. They're just a little too much, but 3.5s usually most people are 3 to 3.5. So
okay. Well,
I feel confident saying I'm 3.5. I know that means a lot to everyone, including our not audience.
But yeah, all of our moms and dads that are going to be the only people who watch this, they will really appreciate that. So.
The sport is spreading.
My dad, already a big fan, after sharing your Facebook post the other day with me, Rob. I saw you post. This is the story about how you posted the Yadier Molina joke on Facebook. And then I saw that as you posted it. And then maybe 3-4 days go by. And then my dad, who has no connection to you, arguably no correct connection to me either. He posts on my Facebook wall. And
no willing connection to you.
No willing connection to me. Post the Yadier Molina joke on my Facebook wall, to which I say, I saw this a couple days ago. I know this guy.
Yeah. There were, I guess, at least two of my teacher friends shared with me T-shirts that had been made out of it. Like the St. Louis crafts page. These women just hack whatever lines they want, and then they're like, hey, can somebody put this on a T-shirt? And then they just sell it. I'm like, well, nobody's going to buy it. But still, I went after one of them. She's like, I apologize. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So even when you do something that makes you famous, you still make zero money off of it.
Correct. Yes.
And that is the comedy life, right?
Yeah.
What was the joke? I didn't see it.
To be fair, Yadier Molina catches everything.
Yadi announced that he had COVID-19, and Rob had that out instantaneously. It was hilarious.
Thank you. I thought it would get a few shares. And what's funny is none of my friends actually shared it. A few, but it was all strangers tagging each other. And I was like, oh, this is what it's like. Cool. And
yeah.
I felt
liked
important
it,
for
but
2
I didn't
days.
share it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. You're not audience this out. Oh, that's fine. No, it's you know what's funny though is I tweeted it and it got 2 retweets.
Really?
But on Facebook, it gets 3,200 shares.
That's crazy.
Isn't that weird?
Like to me, I always think of it. It always seems to me that Twitter is the easier platform to go viral from.
Yeah. It's you retweet all the time. You rarely share a friend's stuff on Facebook.
Yeah.
There could be like a good Chris Ward post that you put on, but yeah, nobody on Twitter. And then I complained about that, and then somebody gave me like a sympathy retweet or something.
Now, did you on Twitter? Did you just have like the text though? It wasn't like the picture background like Facebook does it, right?
Yeah, probably should have made it fancy.
Yeah, I think people just latch onto that stuff. And it's the opposite way. Like if you would have posted it on Facebook, but just as text without the background, nobody would have seen it. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah,
we're very shareable about that.
No, nothing. Unless I put crazy graphics or a picture of my wife, nothing gets any attention at all on there. I finally snuck on an El Toro episode, and it got like 700 views. And 3 days before I put some up, 300.
Was that the one when you were down in Mexico?
Yeah,
I saw that one.
Oh, well, most people did. The other ones.
Well, I mean, I've watched many of those.
Okay, good. Yeah.
But he was 600 of the 700 views on that particular
video. You're welcome, Rob.
I appreciate your support.
Well, guys, let's talk about some bourbon here. Tonight, the four of us are going to be drinking this bad boy right here, Blanton's. Not going to go into a whole lot of details on what Blanton's is. But I will share that it is one of the most frustrating bourbons on the planet, in my personal opinion. 10 years ago, you could walk into pretty much any liquor store, find it on the shelf, no problem, and the price would have been $40 to $55. Today, if you walk into a liquor store, first of all, you're likely not going to see it on the shelf. And if you do, it's on the shelf at $120 to $180. And by the way, the MSRP on it is still in that $55 to $65 range, but people go nuts for it. It is a excellent bourbon. It's made by Buffalo Trace using mash bill number 2, which is their high rye mash bill. All of it comes out of Warehouse H, and every bottle of it is single barrel. So the fact that they're all single barrel, you will occasionally get a bad bottle of Blanton's that just does not taste what you're used to. On the other hand, there are times when you get a bottle of Blanton's that is just so damn good that you're never going to find one that's as good as that one ever again. That's one of the fun things and frustrating things about Blanton's. I personally acquired this bottle from the same store group that I usually do, which is the Glenmart BP, Maryville, Phillips 66, and Lebanon Wine and Spirits, Lebanon Liquors, whatever their name is. I don't remember, but it's in Lebanon, Illinois. I paid $65 for it. In order to get it at $65, you pretty much have to know the owner, the manager, et cetera, et cetera. But it is a great bottle. Mine was dumped on the 10th of March of 2020, and I won't give you the other details. It's 93 proof. Stephen, as usual, he acquired his from mine. Rob, I know you got yours a long time. You've had your bottle for a really long time, right?
I did. I found mine was dumped June 14th of 2016. Barrel number 854. I got this for $57 at the Total Wine on Manchester. We were walking around in there, and I didn't know. I'm kind of that idiot that stumbled on a lot of my nicer bottles because I got there early. I first had Blanton's. I took my wife to a Cavs Pacers game, and we were drinking at a place in Indianapolis, this hotel, and the bartender was new, I guess, because I was like, I want the one with the horse on it. And it was probably 2012, 2013. Mm-hmm. And so he gave me he filled a rocks glass with it.
Wow.
And charged me like $8 because I wanted the lid. And he's like, oh yeah, we'll just finish it off for you. And then I got the tab, and I was like, he only charged me $8 for, probably what a bottle would cost at most. And so when I saw it again, I was like, oh, that was really good stuff. And I thought I could collect all the different horses because it was available. I had seen it. I used to go to Clayton Wine and Cheese place, and they always had it. But, I didn't have much money. So, I got it for $57. And I remember it said limit one. And I was like, oh, we can only buy one now. So, I got that. I think I got it in 2016. And half the bottle's gone because I would have a drink before every Ohio State kickoff a couple seasons ago.
I mean, if I was going to watch an Ohio State game, I would have to get drunk beforehand too, because that's just how Ohio State is for me. We are Penn State, by the way.
Yeah, you don't like the fourth quarter.
We like the showers afterwards, though. I mean, what? I'm sorry, that was inappropriate. That was. I hope my employers don't hear that.
I've got the A horse here, so.
I also have the A horse.
Oh, okay. And then that lid.
L. You can see that.
We could.
Yeah. So Ryan, where'd you get your bottle from? This bottle of your mini.
Oh well, this is an older one right here. This is probably from that same Target that I have. So one of my accounts is a huge Target in the city. It's one of the biggest. I'm not going to give the address, but just in case we actually get listeners one day. But I bought this one in Chicago. Looks like last year. It's from October of 2019. So it's a little older. I probably have a bunch of 2019 bottles in here though. But I usually get my bottles at my Target that I sell to. It's a huge Target. Pretty much anything they ask for, they get. So whenever I punch cases in for that store, no allocation thing comes up like at every other store. I guess I'll punch them 2 cases and I'll buy one and the store could have the other. So that's how I usually do it. So I bought each bottle at $54.99, and after Cook County tax,
of course it freezes.
Like $60 on the dot. Yeah. Oh, did it freeze?
It froze for a second.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So after tax, it's about $60 a bottle.
Okay.
So yeah, it was.
I wonder why we can't
about
find
$3.60 for 6.
Right.
Yeah, I know. Suckers.
So I got to say about Blanton's, the reason I mentioned how frustrating it is for me is that Blanton's is a really good bourbon. There's no denying that. But again, if you see it on the shelf, it's normally going to have a price tag, $120 minimum. Very rarely is it just going to be sitting somewhere, unless there's already a line waiting for them. Is it going to be less than $120? I've heard of people seeing them out and about at liquor stores up to $200. And the reason it's so frustrating is that Blanton's is not worth $120, in my personal opinion. To me, Blanton's is not worth anything more than $85 or $90. And I have a very hard time. Like, if I see it and it's $85, I'm probably going to walk past it because there are so many bottles of bourbon that are so much better than Blanton's in that $85 price range. So if we do actually have any listeners, like, if you've never had it, don't drop $85 or more on a bottle that you've never had. Go to a bar, have a pour for 11, 12, 13 bucks or whatever. Figure out if you like it. If you like
it, at the Indianapolis.
Yeah,
that
was 8 years ago.
Not there anymore.
he definitely got fired.
But yes, I mean, try it at a bar first. If you drink it and you're just like, holy cow, Dan's wrong, this is totally worth $180. First of all, have your taste buds checked. Second of all, who do you work for? Because I want that job. Like that's too much for a bottle of Blanton's, in my personal opinion. But so anyway, that's why it's so frustrating to me. But at $65, it's hard to beat Blanton's at $65. It is very good. So what do you say? We want to have a drink?
All right.
Do it.
Rob, you just gonna chug it straight out of the bottle?
No, I got a little glass going here.
I just poured the rest of mine in here. Kind of like that bartender. It's the bottle left. I'm like, fuck it.
I heard years ago that P. Diddy used to buy every case of Cristal in the state of New York so that nobody else could have it. We got to make sure he stays away from bourbon.
Yeah, we do. And Ryan, we need you to start working for a distributor that like handles, I don't know, shit bourbon. like,
I mean, I'm sure we sell some bad ones. You know, I'm trying to. I mean, any grocery store private label bourbon I sell. So if we had Schnucks up here, I'd be selling you. It's a Sazerac bourbon though. They're all Sazerac bourbons. Yeah. Any bottom shelf private label you'll see is a Sazerac bourbon or vodka. Mm-hmm. You know, floor cleaner Skull vodka. It's the same as Schnucks vodka.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's the same juice, yeah. Skull just charges $2 more a bottle.
Okay.
But it's the same, yeah.
So, Stephen, what do you think? This is your first time tasting Blanton's, right?
Yeah, as far as I know. And it is incredibly smooth.
Yeah.
And it is a little more savory than I think of the last few whiskeys we've had. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this definitely goes right up there with my favorites so far.
So, Rob, Stephen loves bourbon, but he is very new to bourbon. He doesn't know much about it and hasn't tried a whole lot of stuff. So we like getting his impression on things. One thing we didn't do yet, Stephen.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I mean, let's be honest here. This is an absolutely trash label. This is one of the worst labels we've had so far, quite frankly. I think this is all about the shape of the bottle and that topper, right? Very clearly. But I'll give them some high marks in terms of overall aesthetics. I do like that the label wraps all the way around. You can tell that this is Blanton's from a mile away, so that's a win for them. But what I'll say is, what the fuck is written on that bottle? I can't read it. Can anyone read that?
It says this bourbon whiskey dumped on 10-10-19, stored in warehouse H, individually selected, filtered, and bottled.
There's a common theme I've seen with labels on bourbon. There's just way too many words on them for a label. Like, there's no graphic artists working in the bourbon industry whatsoever.
So every episode, Stephen gives a rundown on his take on the label.
So this one gets a 3 out of 10 just because it wraps around. It is unique. I'll give them that. But this is a trash label.
So it's just the label, not the bottle itself.
Right. So I can't give them any more. If I was ranking the overall bottle, I mean, you're talking about probably in the 7s, maybe a little bit higher, because it's a nice shape, very unique, nice topper. But again, can't do it. I'm just ranking the label, and the label is straight trash.
Okay.
Do you know about the toppers and the letters, Stephen?
I heard you mention it earlier, and I know you said you were trying to collect them.
You see, it looks like a J, but it's an L because it's backwards on my camera.
Oh, it's on backwards on yours, but it's right for us.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. I love technology, but so you could spell out Blanton. So Sazerac, Buffalo Trace Distillery will sell different pieces of memorabilia, basically, where you could either hang each bottle up 8 times for Blanton's, and people collect the letters. So in the case I picked up yesterday, there were 5 different letters, which is pretty cool. I think I can spell out Blanton's now because my dad gave away like 4 bottles last month. Like, dude, what the fuck?
I mean, I
had it.
You've got 18 bottles on hand right now.
A lot of B's, a lot of L's, a lot of N's is what
What's the rare one? What's you remember the Monopoly pieces of McDonald's? What's the boardwalk of letters?
The second in.
Second end, yeah.
There actually is there's a different in. They are 2 separate ins.
Are they really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, the second in has a asterisk or a colon.
An apostrophe.
No, it actually has it's in colon.
Oh. On
that in. I know how it's spelled, but that second in is in colon, and the horse is different, of course, too. So
it's not. Is it the N apostrophe?
No.
Is that what it is? No?
It's in colon.
Is it the same horse for every letter? Yep. Like every T has that horse?
Every B has the same horse. Every L has the same horse, but each of the individual horses is different.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And it's made to they're supposed to represent from start to finish of the Kentucky Derby.
Cool.
So,
but I'm not ranking toppers, so it's still trash.
Still trash. What's your number rating? What is it?
3. It's a 3 out of 10.
3 out of 10. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure who's going to get more hate mail out of this episode. Me for saying that you shouldn't spend more than 80-ish bucks for Blanton's. Ryan for hoarding 3 cases. Steven for trashing the label. Or Rob because he's Rob. Like,
Yep.
But
maybe because I only had to pay $57.
Yeah, or you got like a full glass for $8. That could be.
Oh yeah. That's,
Blanton's is easily. People get more passionate about Blanton's than any other bottle on the planet, and it's somewhat deserving. I think. So.
Is it just the mystique of the bottle? Like, what do you?
No, it's just become so hard to get.
Yeah,
like, it's a really, really good bourbon, and it's the single one that is just so hard to get these days.
It's so hard to get, and we can afford it. It's not like a 23-year Van Winkle where even if we saw it, we couldn't,
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy in the market. I'll be out for, a regular 8-hour workday, and I'll probably hear 1 or 2 people per store asking the manager, "You guys have Blanton's?" It's insane. It's constant phone calls. "You guys have Blanton's?" And you think they'd know by how many times they call if they say yes. Like, it comes out the same day every month.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm not going to say which day so I can hoard more cases. But it's a pain. That's all you hear.
You can say which day it is, and I'll bleep it out, and it will just taunt him in that way.
Yeah,
that would be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. You're going to bleep it out twice, the 12th of every month.
Okay. Well, you set up fucking. Now we have to edit it twice because you started to say it and you stopped.
I know. So I said you got to bleep it out twice.
Okay.
You want one more?
We're just gonna make
we could
your
even
job
throw
even
in some
harder,
decoys.
Steven.
Yeah.
Let's throw in some decoys. Wow, I can't believe it's after that.
You had to rep your Ohio boys, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. Actually, from Columbus too.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, they say they're from Cleveland.
Yeah,
they're from Columbus. They're from Reynoldsburg or whatever.
No kidding. I had no idea. Hey, so I don't know if the listeners certainly didn't notice, but I've been eating some orange slices. Orange slices with Blanton's, there's nothing better. They go together so damn well. So if you're out there, listeners, eat orange slices with your Blantons and thank me later. It goes remarkably well together. On previous and future episodes, a lot of times we end up drinking our bourbon neat with a little bit of water and with some ice. Ryan and I are not going to do that because we both already know we do not like water or ice with Blantons. Rob, are you interested? If you don't like it that way either, don't. I think, Steven, you're going to give it a try, though? Yes?
I'm going to give it a shot, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it waters it down at all. I've already drank mine, so the ice doesn't really get much of a chance to melt. That's the thing. I sip so fast. It's not healthy. But especially with these, everything's now 45 to 50 proof. Mm-hmm. And so I get hammered pretty quickly on Fridays when I get home to my little bar here.
You have a very nice home bar.
I like the lights and everything.
Thank you. Yeah.
Bar. Yeah.
We went overboard when now Ryan, yours is a lot classier and
don't let him fool you. That's his mom's.
My dad's. Okay, so I'm buying a house in a couple months. So I'm
don't spare him the story. All right, you're in your mom's basement. Let's move on. It's fine.
My dad bought the house. Okay, it's my dad.
We bought this home in 2015, and then the first thing we did was put the bar in. And in St. Charles, Missouri, that triples the value of your home when you put a bar in the basement. So,
I heard a shoe rack too.
Do you have Natty Light on tap? Because I heard that does wonders in the St.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. I went overboard and bought like a ton of those crazy vodkas because I was watching, just all those bartender videos. I was like, I need yellow cake vodka. I need, just this abstract crap that I haven't even touched since then, really. But it's fun to have. When my wife has her friends over, I make like peanut butter and jelly shots, and
cool.
they're like, "Oh, what are those bottles?" I'm like, "You can't touch those." that Angel's Envy looks neat. It does, and you're not going to touch it.
So, Rob, what's your favorite bourbon?
Honestly, of the collection I have, the Angel's Envy Rye. I got this at a Total Wine Lotto. It's the finished in Caribbean rum casks.
Oh yeah,
and it's got a touch of vanilla, and it's just smoother. It's 100 proof, and it's just smoother than anything I have. Even Blanton's in that. Now I have this Van Winkle. I bought this in. Here's a reason they'll hate me. I bought that in, I want to say 2010. I just started teaching, and I went into the wine and cheese shop in Clayton. And I was like, I want to buy a nice bottle of bourbon. We're watching Mad Men, and they drink bourbon all the time. And this guy's like, here's this one. It's $42. I'm like, that's a lot to spend. He's like, you don't know what you're getting here. Just trust me. You normally have to win a lottery to get this. I go, oh, okay, I'll take it.
Yeah.
And then my third favorite is the Black Maple Hill, which is no longer made, so I'm never going to finish that either.
Mm-hmm.
But I think my third bottle of Black Maple Hill, my wife discovered that one for me. She would just, buy me stuff because I was so stressed out teaching. So yeah, those are my three favorites.
What's your daily drinker? Like,
that's the thing is I mix it up so much now. I have so many that, what I really, I just started with Larceny. I was like, I got to find some more budget stuff. And then this Dickel 12-year.
That's a good Tennessee whiskey.
Really like that.
Yeah.
But I'll get into tequilas and scotches too.
Mm-hmm.
So the Old Forester 1910 and then the single barrel of Four Roses, those were the two big hits this summer with me, I think.
You're welcome, by the way.
Yeah, no, I followed your advice on that, and I've sent you. I bring up your store your blog all the time with that thing. Now, I'm a little disappointed in the Longhorn Steakhouse Knob Creek. I thought that was going to be amazing, and
was that a 9-year or 12? You'll have to actually do math. I'm sorry to do that.
I got the Texas Roadhouse Jim Beam. It's pretty good.
It normally says on it when it was barreled and when it was bottled.
Okay, barreled 2005.
Jesus.
Selected 2019. 14? That can't be right.
Yeah, it can be.
So is that a 12-year?
No, I mean it's so whenever it's a barrel pick like that for Knob Creek, they don't actually give like an age statement. They just tell you when it was bottled, when it was but they typically break down to either in the vicinity of 9, in the vicinity of 12, or in the vicinity of 15. So you got one that's in the vicinity of 15.
Okay.
So, it
didn't feel 15 smooth. It just wasn't as smooth as I thought it should be for being in a barrel that long.
Yeah.
Didn't particularly blow me away. Then I was mad because Walmart had it listed at $30, and I got it up there and it was $41. I was like, "That's your mistake." They're like, "We don't fix liquor." Damn it.
So, do you want to tell us where you teach at, or no?
No, I teach at Marquette High School. It's Chesterfield. It's a Rockwood school. Okay. And right now, the teachers come into the building and teach virtually to the kids who get to stay at home.
So you do have to go in?
Yes. Now, they did say if there's a circumstance, they're like, don't use a sick day. If you can just put your lesson plans on or whatever. They're like, if you need to stay home one day or for something, you got the sniffles or whatever, just stay home. It's fine. Mm-hmm. But, they do want us to come in. So, I only have 2 classes this quarter too. They messed up the scheduling and rearranged it all. So I'm on Zoom 2 hours a day and I'm there 8 hours. So that 6th book should be out by this spring. That keeps up.
You made a post the other day, Rob, about how it was basically amounted to a shit show so far after your first day of teaching.
Yeah.
What's it like teaching with COVID?
Well, our Zoom works theirs doesn't for some reason. I'm like, come on, kids, you live in really big, nice houses. How are you not getting Zoom to work? And just the curriculum and everything. I settled down after that first day, but I really missed the connect. It's like doing virtual comedy. You can't hear any feedback. And 16-year-olds at 9:30 in the morning, they just stare at you. You know, I'm comedy gold I deliver to these kids. And they, like one of them was talking about going to Sonic. And I was like, oh, did you have the hedgehog burger? And they, right? That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Clean, they get it. And they just kind of, so.
Almost makes you want to flaunt just so you can hear more of that, you know?
I'm missing the connections with the kids. I never thought I'd say that, but yeah, it's just not the same right now. You know, it's only been 3 days, but.
Yeah. And what do you teach? You teach English?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I started a chess club last year. It just started with me playing one kid, and then other kids saw that, and before you know, we actually had girls coming to my room to play chess.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like not even nerdy girls, like popular girls who are coming in and watching their boyfriends play, and then they learn to play. Yeah. So not this year.
But I mean, that's really good. Like you saw, well, actually, I mean, you were just playing with a kid and then it picked up. That's as natural and native as it could be. That's really cool.
It was from the Ukraine too. So, and I beat him. I beat a Ukrainian in chess. So I'll brag about it.
Good for you.
No, I watched chess videos on YouTube. It's picked up. Like, chess is the Bourbon of board games. It has just taken off in the last 5 years, especially online right now. So
wow, that's really good for
Be on the look. Yeah, they got that upcoming thing. They're sponsoring a tournament where the number one guy in the world, Magnus Carlsen, is going to play against what's his name, Kasparov, the guy that was world champion in the 90s. So
okay.
Pretty excited.
I mean, St. Louis has the chess.
Yeah.
What is the World
Chess Hall of Fame? I emailed them. I was like, hey, I'm starting a club, and they're like, come down. We'll give you a dozen chessboards for free. And like they roll out, but they're really nice big plastic pieces. The kids were impressed. So yeah, it was great.
Mike Matheny's big on chess, isn't he?
I don't know, but if we had any listeners, they're gone now.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. No. We need to get so our last recording, we had a big conversation about how Ryan and Steven both look like white nationalists, but how Steven looks like a lesbian white nationalist. I think that could really bring some viewers back in. So
yeah, that's the market we're trying to tap into. The lesbian white nationalist market.
Yeah. I see it in Steven, not so much Ryan though.
See, I knew it.
But Ryan's whole thing is that he tried to come at me and say that I had the Richard Spencer haircut, which I understand, but it's a weird dig because Richard Spencer has many photographs where he has Ryan's exact haircut right now. That's my only argument.
Dude, you're shaved on the side. He's got the shaved side.
My hair looks weird if it grows out on the side, okay?
So it's not shaved.
Even your head looks weird no matter what hairstyle you have. I've seen you have multiple hairstyles, and your head always looks
what I'm saying is this is the best I can do, and Jews are cool, okay?
I did a 23andMe. I'm like 0.004% Asha Nazi Jew or something. I'm butchering that name. It's not. It
we're gonna need
A-Z-I.
We're gonna need to edit that. Okay, I don't know what the fuck that was.
No, it's European Jew.
Ashkenazi
whatever.
Jew.
It ends at Ashkenazi or something. I don't look it up. I'm not making it up.
Oh Jesus! Oh man, this is the worst PR I've ever seen. Just look it up.
Let's go back to chess.
Yeah.
Oh
my God. What a train wreck.
Tell me about it. The results are brutal, man. Can I get a refund?
Oh God. So Steven, have you tried it with water or ice yet? Let's get back to bourbon.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find that name out for you, by the way.
So with water and with ice, it's better than the label. Not Not something I would do ever again.
Yeah.
Pretty much wasted.
That's why I told you to just do a little bit, man.
Yeah. I would knock it down like 4 full points from like my final score. So whatever I get my final score, that's like significantly worse. There's just nothing to it. Like that's a common theme, I think, with the last few bourbons that we've had and
Yeah.
adding water or ice. It's just it ends up killing what's good about that particular bourbon or whiskey. And
yeah. There's going to be some that we try later on that I want to get to out of my too many bottles that for those you'll be like, oh wow, adding a little bit of water or having a little bit of ice really brings out specific flavors that I think you'll enjoy. All of the ones so far really truly are best to have neat in my opinion.
I think Fighting Cock was pretty interesting with a splash of water. It had that like spicier flavor. That was pretty good.
Good point. Yeah, really good point. So Rob,
I'm going with this bad boy now. Now this is actually, I don't think it's actually Jim Beam. I think it is 3 months of Old Crow put into, yeah.
Old Crow shout out.
Old Crow, 3 months in my mini barrel, tastes like a $25 bottle.
As opposed to a $12 bottle?
Yes.
Doubles the value.
The taste isn't always safe, but it can take shit whiskey and make it smoother.
Yeah. What do you think of your mini barrel?
It's fun. Like it's fun to rotate because I'll do red wine for 3 months, and it gives cheap red wine a whole body to it. I did port. I don't know if you recall that El Toro episode
I did.
At the beginning.
Yep. I
put this port that I could barely drink it. It was that bad. And now I have a pretty good, it's a decent port. It's, I don't spit it back out. I like to use, I should be able to pronounce it as an English teacher, Amontillado or Amontillado. Remember that Edgar Allan Poe, The Cask of Amontillado?
Oh yeah.
It's like sherry from Spain.
Okay.
And that's got you should, first of all, if you can find any of that, even the $11 bottle, it's very good. It's nutty, and it's, I want to say about 35 proof. And I just love it. And putting in that barrel just perfected it. So I took it to the English teacher Christmas party. I was like, look, I have a cask of Amontillado. And they, we geeked out on that. And then, so this Jim Beam is actually the nicest thing I've ever filled it with. Mm-hmm. So to take a decent bourbon, which Jim Beam's kind of my go-to cheap bourbon, and to put that in there, I'm going to see if it, like I said, compare it to the actual single barrel and see how it is. And even during the summer, I'll put it up in my upstairs cupboards. So, heat rises. We have really high ceilings. So I put it up there so it gets all
heat rises?
More heat. I don't know. It's a little trade secret, but that's how they make the single barrels at the Jack Daniel's distillery tour that I went on. They put the good barrels up top. I was like, why don't you just put all the barrels up there? They're like, it just doesn't. No, why wouldn't you put them all up there? Build a freaking right.
Put it on stilts.
That's the Superman problem. In every movie that has Superman, they have to figure out a way to basically make Superman not a factor for most of it, because otherwise Superman would just finish that movie in 15 minutes.
Huh. Yeah. That's a very good parallel. So
to also talk about Marvel, though, talking about superheroes, same with Scarlet Witch from the Marvel series. Scarlet Witch is like such a badass, and they keep handicapping her.
Yeah, it's
sorry. Go ahead.
If you just have a hero that can do everything, you have to destroy that character. It's such a terrible writer's dilemma to face, I think.
You know what the biggest dilemma right now is in writing? Is cell phones. You want to know why Stranger Things happened in the 80s? If those kids had cell phones, there's no plot. Seinfeld with cell phones, there's no plot. Three's Company, there's none of that confusion.
I've heard Home Alone a lot.
Yeah. So, you have to really adjust for that. I think there's always going to be stories that take place 20th century and before, because it's easier to write without cell phones.
That's actually an interesting perspective.
I'm struggling with it right now. in my young adult books that I'm writing, it's tough to, in the first book, his cell phone, he didn't have a great phone and great service or whatever. And, the internet it ruins, because basically it's all of our lives. It's all we do, but you can't write about that. That's not interesting. So
especially for young adult books, because it's such a transcendent technology that you're trying to somehow write around for these people who don't really have a lot of life experience yet to like even put themselves in another era.
Right? Yeah. And they don't call, teenagers don't call each other anymore. It's all just texting and everything. So
I don't call anybody.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. It's
like,
outside
if my
family,
phone rings, I have a hard decision. Okay, is this work related? Is it my wife? Is it, anything involving my son? If it's none of those things, there's a good chance I'm just going to ignore it and listen to the voicemail and then text back.
Yeah, Dan, I was going to call you when I was stuck in traffic when we were texting about the bottle I bought the other day.
I wouldn't have answered.
I was like, I kind of texted you, threw it out there, like, I'm stuck in traffic. I thought you were going to be like, yeah, give me a call.
And what was my reply?
No,
my reply was, "Don't die. We'll talk later."
Don't die. Please don't call me. It was, yeah.
You guys remember the movie Phone Booth that came out like with Colin Farrell?
That
was like less
Sniper,
than
right?
Yes, that came out like less than 15 years ago, and we now like there's no payphones anywhere, right? Mm-hmm. And also like the whole premise is that he answered a call from a stranger, which is just a whole nother level of like, who would ever do that? A payphone and a call from a stranger. Like, fuck both of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fiction it's quickly expiring. If you look at the old movie, was it like Hackers? Those early internet movies are just hilarious. They have dial up.
and hacking's one of those weird movie concepts where like it's such a boring thing to watch that most people don't even understand. So like, how do you convey it? So like in Hackers, they have like Angelina Jolie's a crazy character, and like they have to make these characters over the top so that they're visually interesting because they're really just like, typing and shit.
Yeah, they just type.
Well, I think in Swordfish, doesn't Hugh Jackman like gets like they like force him to do cocaine while he's like getting blown while he's like hacking or something like that.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, I remember that scene very clearly because he gets a BJ and is doing cocaine while trying to hack, and I was just like, I can relate to all of that except for hacking. So
yeah, and then I got a job in technology, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Pretty much if you see your own profession pop up in a movie or TV show, it's just so blatantly awful. Like every high school scene, the teacher's always yelling out homework as the bell rings. I'm like, you don't do that. Remember, read chapters 1 through 3. No, nobody's reading chapters 1 through 3 in one night. It's just, you just notice the errors and all that. It's
So talk about your books, Rob. You've got how many?
5 right now.
Okay.
6 is on the way. The first one I have them actually right here because I keep them at the bar. The first one is Don't Wear Shorts on Stage.
I have that one.
And this is the successful one. It led me to believe that other books would make money too. I should probably write a second edition of it because there are a few things are outdated in that one. And then I wrote 2 romance novels that are under a pen name. We're not even going to bring those up. And then this one I put out last year. It's called Don't Do Shots with Strangers. So here's your drinking book. And this is, my wife and I, we've taken 20 vacations, all-inclusive vacations down to resorts in Mexico and Costa Rica and Dominican, mostly Mexico though. And so I've learned all these vacation tips along the way, including don't do shots with strangers because they always seem to drink us under the table. And then what I'm working on now, I put this one out a few years ago. It's called Around the Block. It's kind of based on my high school experience. It's about this little runner boy here who's never kissed a girl. And this really weird girl, her shadow is here, it becomes obsessed with him. And this actually happened to me in high school. There was this really odd girl that just socially awkward and whatever that was obsessed with me. And by my senior year, the whole school knew about it. Mm-hmm. And so actually girls talked to me about it. And I was like, oh, so I kind of took that concept and made up a character. And then this girl here is a 6'1" softball player who parties with college guys and has been around the block. And she likes him too. Mm-hmm. And so he's kind of stuck between this weirdo and then this girl that's very sexually experienced. And he tries, he has to balance that out. And he doesn't end up with a weird girl. It's not one of those cliches. So I'm writing the sequel to that. That one ended on a really big, on the final page, there's this mind-blowing thing. This thing comes out. And my students are like, how can you leave it like that? And I was like, well, the theme came across, right? And they're like, yeah. But I was like, we want more. So I finally, I've written a couple other books that I've kind of tabled. And then I'm working on the sequel right now. I'm in the second draft of it. It'll be probably about a 70,000 word book. I'm at 20,000 words I hit today. So It's a process that a book takes usually around a year and a half to 2 years to publish, although the Don't Do Shots with Strangers took 6 months from start to end. But nonfiction's easier. But I don't know, it's fun. I wrote the screenplay to Around the Block as well. And I'd like to send it to one of those Amazon or Netflix, they produce anything kind of things. But I don't know. It's all a dream. They're all self-published. So, when I sit down and actually become a professional author when I retire from teaching in 20 years or however the hell long it's going to take, then, I can finally get stuff published.
20 more years of little shits.
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather be a famous author than a famous comedian at this point, just because, you don't have to travel as much.
Yeah, understandably.
Let me hit you with a label review real quick, Rob. Those books.
Oh boy, here we go.
Those books have great covers, actually.
Oh,
I was going to say. Yeah.
My brother, these are my brother's legs. He did this in his buddy's living room. And then this one, I did, my buddy Ryan Kendall from Columbus designed. And then a local lady that does book covers kind of did the aesthetics of it, Peggy Newman. And then this one, I paid some guy from the other side of the world a few $100, and he nailed it. So I sent him some pictures from vacation and stuck my wife on there, which always helps. And I did actually do a lot of writing over the quarantine finally. Well, it got to like late July and I was like, I haven't thought about comedy at all. And so I have some gigs coming up that hopefully I won't be super rusty. I've been going open mic and they use me a funny bone. Mm-hmm. So we did, Greg Warren and Nikki Glazer were out. They were doing shows with me and a couple of locals. It was pretty cool. There were like awesome. 12 people there most nights.
Oh my God. For Greg Warren and Nikki Glazer and you.
It's kind of like when I bought the Van Winkle for $42.
Yeah.
These people paid $10 to see Nikki and Greg, and they got bonus me.
You were the highlight of the show, man.
I'm like the Basil Haydens to their. No, that's generous. That's generous.
But you're in the cask for a few months.
Yes.
We're gonna turn this $12 bourbon into $25,
baby. So what? You're not hyped up about the VFW in Highland, Illinois?
Was that? I believe that was the place where the woman after the show dropped an N-bomb and a joke she had to tell me. It's like, okay.
If that's gonna happen, it's gonna happen in Highland, Illinois.
Yeah. It's like I'm guessing you're not gonna buy a book. Well, no, I don't read. Okay.
It's those nights that you're like, I got to get back to this empty classroom and do my fucking Zoom.
Exactly.
I was just going to ask if your school is still planning on doing like sports or anything like that at this point.
Yeah, as of now they are. They had to do 2 weeks off. I talked to our football coach and he's like, yeah, the kids, they want to play. We got scholarships riding on this. But he goes, you go 20 miles from here and those teams practice like it was a regular year. He's like, so we're already behind the 8 ball because all this St. Louis Metro is the only one that was, practicing social distancing and regulations, probably clear down in Fox. They're,
well, there's your pitch for getting chess club back right there. All these other kids are getting their scholarships right now. Magnus is going into a tournament next month.
That's true. Here's what Ohio State offered the other day. I heard from an inside source from a beat writer that said Ohio State offered Nebraska, Wisconsin, Iowa, Penn State, and Michigan State a 10-game, or that each team would play the other team twice. So you could blow 2 fourth-quarter leads in the same season, and then they wouldn't be part of the postseason for some reason. I was like, if they're playing, though, they're going to win in that postseason because that's supposed to still be on, too. You know, the SEC is going to have football no matter what.
Absolutely.
They'll let kids die.
Oh, yeah.
Before they cancel a season.
On the field. Like, cart them off.
Yeah, you're telling me that Alabama defensive line isn't going to go party?
Yeah.
Right? They think, you know.
So one of my partners, one of the universities that I partner with for my job is University of Alabama. And I was given so much crap to the people that I coordinate with down there about, like, they had, like, a ridiculous number of COVID-19 cases pop up, like, earlier this week. And I was just like, what are you guys doing? They're like, we don't care. We're playing football. I'm like, well, of course you are. You're Tuscaloosa. Yeah. Like, come on.
Till it kills Nick Saban.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would anybody outside of the state of Alabama care?
I thought the blind side was okay.
So what are we going to rate Blanton's? Let's start with Rob. You're the guest. Let's begin with you. On a scale of 1 to 10, and Jim Beam, normal Jim Beam is a 5.0.
Okay.
He doesn't give a shit.
Bottle isn't as smooth as what you guys are claiming. So, in hearing that, I didn't know there was such a variance of that. I'm going to say mine's like an 8.5.
Oh. That's really high.
That's really high?
The highest.
Wait, what?
Highest rating.
You said Jim Beam was 5, though.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
if it's an 8.5 to you, then it's an 8.5.
Okay, probably an 8. Let me be honest. I didn't want to be a dick, and I'm going to say it's just the flavor's great, the smoothness, and I've
tried. You don't want to be a dick, last. But we talked you into it.
Rob, do you want to go last?
I'll just average your 3, and then I'm going to say 8. Solid 8. None of this 0.5.
8.0?
8.0.
Okay. Let's go with Ryan. What's your rating?
Okay, I'm not, like, the high rye mash bill is not my favorite. I like more of like a Weller. Perfect. Just we did bourbons right more at my alley. So probably I'm going to give it a 7.4. I like the Michter's sour mash a little bit more than Blanton's.
What did you rate the Michter's last night?
7.6.
Excuse me, last week.
So 7.6.
So if that's higher than Blanton's, how many fucking cases do you have of that?
I traded 2 bottles for it. I can't find it up here anymore.
He traded 2 bottles of Blanton's for 1 bottle of Michter's sour mash.
Two bottles. It was an even trade. 2-2.
Oh, okay. Steven, What about you?
I think I'm going to give this a 7.6. So I think basically I would flip-flop with Ryan on. I like this a little bit more than Michter's. I really like Michter's, but to me this one edges it out just a little bit. Maybe, like Rob's saying, it would vary by the bottle that I was drinking out of. Mm-hmm. But for this bottle, I give it a little better than the Michter's Sour Mash.
Okay. I'm going to rate it as a 7.1. With an orange slice, it goes up to 7.6, though.
Mm.
Orange slice with Blanton's is as good
I wish you would have told me before.
Yeah.
I would have actually bought fruit.
I don't have to reveal all of my secrets.
Just over there with your orange.
If I knew it was good with whiskey, I would have bought fruit. You should have told me I would own fruit.
You watch it 2 years from now. They have oranges at this one market. I haven't seen oranges in 2 years. This is so good with Blanton's.
Steven was my best man in my wedding, and Ryan was one of my groomsmen. But Ryan lives up in Chicago now. He works for a distributor that's connected with Wirtz distributor.
Okay. Yeah, it's called Breakthrough now, but yeah. We used to own part of Missouri Beverage back in the day.
So he actually distributes Buffalo Trace products.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I wonder who distributed my wedding invitation. It must have got lost in the mail. I don't know.
Well,
kind of feel left out here. So weird.
So strange. I know. Yeah, I would make an excuse, but I won't.
You had a show that night. You had a thing, and you didn't want to make me feel
I had
bad.
that thing. You're right. I did have that corporate gig. Yeah.
And I never got a wedding gift, by the way. So that's really on me too, since I didn't.
You know what's been happening with the mail these days.
And you'll get them Nick's marriage. It's not a big deal.
When I have my number 3, you're in, Rob.
All right.
No, I like this one. I want to keep this one. So, well, do we want to?
You held the Blantons when you said that, by the way.
Yeah.
This is what I want to keep.